Hi Year 8. This video is going to be looking at the verb querer, which means to want, and how that's used in sentences. So I'm going to look at how it changes in Spanish, some translations into English, and some translations into Spanish so that you can see how it works as a structure. This is from your Term 6, Week 2 worksheet, Term 6, Week 2, and it's just from tasks 5 through to the end of the week, which I believe ends on task 8, yes. Now some of you didn't see task 8, so I'll talk you through that anyway so that you can see it being used in Spanish. At the top of the page here, we can see that querer means to want, and we can use that to talk about which jobs we want in the future. For example, I want to be a dentist, she wants to be a nurse, okay? So we have already seen our ER verb endings, so hopefully that will give us a clue when it comes to working out which one of these goes where. Now, we need to see what is funny about this spelling as well, because obviously we need to be careful because sometimes we've got an I, sometimes we haven't. So we're going to have a little look there. So I want is always our first one, I, and we know that if I am doing something, it ends in an O. So quiero is our first one. Our next one, O is our ending for I. For you singular, our ending is ES. So we're looking for one ending in ES. This one here, quieres. O-E-S. E is our next ending that we're looking for, and we've got one here, quiere. Next one, O-E-S-E. Hemos is our next one. Queremos. O-E-S-E. Hemos. Ace is our next one that we're looking for. Queréis. And then en is our final one, quieren. So you can see that they follow the normal endings for ER verbs that we've seen before several times, but we've got a little bit of a spelling change. So we have our first three have an extra I in, these next two don't, and then the I comes back for the last one. So we can see that querer is a 3, 2, 1 verb. So these first three have a change in the middle, the next two don't, and the last one does. We've seen this before with jugar and with poder. So that's just another example of a 3, 2, 1 verb, so we need to be careful of our spelling. This is on our grammar grids, which are on Google Classroom, just if you need them, or I can email you a copy of those. So we're just now going to look at recognising these from the Spanish and putting them into English. So I've done the first one for you. Quieres is our first part, which is you want, singular. Ser means to be. And futbolista means footballer. Now you'll notice that in Spanish, we don't need that word for a. So we're not saying quieres ser un or una futbolista. We don't need that in Spanish. We need to make it nice and easy. You want to be footballer is what they say. So here, queremos, we can see means we want. Ser, to be. I'll break this down so you can see the sections. Abogados, now you can look that up if you can't remember what it means, but it's lawyer, but we've got an S on the end, so we want to be lawyers. Quieren, they want. Ser, to be. Ingenieras, and that's engineers. We've got as on the end, so those are females, okay? So they want to be engineers. And we know that that's female because it's got an as there. Quiero, I want. Ser, to be. Actriz. Now it's not actor, it's actriz, which is very similar to our English. An actress. Now in English, obviously there isn't that word for a or an, but we need to have that in the English for it to make sense, because I want to be actress wouldn't make sense for us. When we're doing translation, it has to make sense in the language. Queréis, you plural want. Oops. Ser, to be. Enfermeros. Enfermero is nurse. We've got an S on the end. Nurses. Mi madre, my mum. Quiere, she, he or it wants. But we wouldn't say my mum, she wants, because that wouldn't make sense to us. We're going to say my mum wants. Ser, to be. Conductora. Got an A on the end there because she's obviously a female, and that's a driver. Mis hermanas, my sisters. Quieren, and that's this one, they want, but my sisters they want doesn't make sense, so we're just going to say my sisters want. Ser, to be. Cocineras, we've got our feminine plural ending because it's my sisters, and cocineras, cooks. Quieres, so we've got a question here. Quieres, which is you want. To be, so we wouldn't say you want to be, we would say do you want to be. In Spanish there is no word for do. And then periodista is a journalist. No quiero, so quiero is I want, no quiero, I don't want. Ser, to be. Cantante, a singer. And our last one, quiero, I want. Ser, to be. Comerciante, this looks like comercio, which is like commercial, people that sell you things, a businessman. Okay, it could be a businesswoman. If you are a girl, it ends in an E, so we don't know if it's masculine or feminine. Either of those would be correct. So that's putting it into English. What we're going to do now very quickly is we're going to look at these sentences that we've got on the back. At the top here for your task 7, I talked about this just now, that you may have noticed from the table that querer is a 3-2-1 verb. What does this mean? It means our first 3 have a spelling change in the stem. The next 2 don't. I'll show you. First 3 have a spelling change, which is that extra I. The next 2 don't, and the final one does. That's what the 3-2-1 means. It doesn't affect the endings, okay? So we've got some children here. This is the part that some of you are having some problems with. They're trying to explain what jobs their family and friends want to do, and we need to put that into Spanish to help them. Now I've put little hints to help you. So the first one says, I want to be a journalist because I am creative. What do you want to be? Now, she's talking about herself, she's a girl, so she uses feminine singular jobs because she's just talking about one person, and adjectives as well. So she says, quiero, I want to be, periodista, a journalist, because, porque, I am, soy, creativa. Now she's got creativa on the end there, A, because she is a girl. Que, what, you want to be. And remember that word do doesn't exist. So what you want to be. So this little boy here says, I want to be a fireman because I am strong and independent. Now he's talking about himself, so he has to use masculine singular jobs and adjectives. So I want, quiero, to be, ser, a fireman. Now we don't need that word a, remember. Bombero. He's a boy, so we keep that as an O. If he was a girl, it would be bombera. Because, porque, I am, soy, he's describing himself, strong, fuerte, and independent. Independiente. Okay? Number 3, my brothers want to be businessmen because they are clever and dynamic. So she's talking about her brothers. She has to use masculine plural, jobs and adjectives. So we'll break this down. My brothers, mis hermanos, want. Now, if we're talking about my brothers, we need to say, we're talking about them, they want. Quieren. Okay, that's they want. That's the last one with the en. To be, ser, businessmen. Think about business, commercials. A bit squished. Comerciante, but it's more than one brother that wants to do it. Comerciantes, they want to be businessmen plural, because they are, son, clever, listo, but again it's more than one brother, listos, and y, dynamic, dinámico, more than one brother, s on the end, dinámicos. Okay, this next little girl, we want to be drivers because we are organised and quiet. Now she's talking about we, she's going to use feminine plural. She's saying me and somebody else, and we're going to assume that she's talking about another girl. We want to be drivers. So we want, queremos is we want to be, ser, drivers, conductor is a driver. We need to make it feminine and we need to make it plural. Conductoras, because we are, somos, organized. So organizado is organized, but we need feminine plural. So it's organizadas and quiet. Sereno, but feminine and plural, serenas. Okay. She wants to be a lawyer because she is motivated and ambitious for our last one. So she's talking about a girl, she has to use feminine singular form. So she wants, quiere. Oops, I've made an error here already. Querer is a 3-2-1 verb. We need to remember to put that I in, because I, you, he, she, we need that I in there. Quiere, to be, said. A lawyer, abogado, but she's a girl, abogada, because she is, s, motivated, motivado, but she's a girl, motivada, and ambitious, ambicioso, she's a girl, ambiciosa. Okay, hopefully that has been helpful for you with this verb want. So quiero, quieren, queremos, quiere. That is on Google Classroom if you need to check those verbs at all, and hopefully that's useful, having seen that structure and how that works of wanting to be something or other.